There comes a time in every soul's journey when the applause fades, the lights go dim, and you're left with yourself. That silence, that's where the real journey begins. I stood once on the mountaintop of the world's admiration. Billions of eyes watching me, millions of hearts following my every word. But at night, alone, I whispered the question nobody could answer for me. What am I really here for? Not just success, not just love, not just service, but truth. And that search, it led me somewhere unexpected, somewhere beautiful, somewhere sacred. It led me to Islam, not to convert, not to change my label, but to find the light that had always been waiting for me to see. My life, as many of you know, began with poverty, abuse, trauma, and then success came fast. Talk shows, awards, accolades. I had the world in my hands, but my soul, it was still reaching. I remember lying in my California home, wrapped in designer sheets, yet wrapped in confusion. God, what do you want me to see? This wasn't depression. This was spiritual thirst. And one day I came across a poem by Rumi, a Muslim mystic, a lover of the divine. It read, "You were born with wings. Why prefer to crawl through life?" That line. It cracked something open, and the more I read, the more I realized he wasn't just speaking poetry. He was echoing verses of the Quran. And that's when my journey to understanding Islam truly began. Nobody introduced Islam to me. I found it in the whispers, through Khalil Gibran, through peaceful Muslim neighbors, through the discipline of prayer I observed from afar. There was something in this faith, something quiet, something ordered, something sacred. I remember being in Turkey, hearing the adhan, the call to prayer for the first time, Allahu Akbar, God is the greatest. I didn't understand the words, but tears rolled down my cheeks because I knew deep down what I was hearing. It was God's invitation to come closer. All my life I was taught to be strong, to rise above, to achieve, but Islam taught me to surrender, to bow, to kneel, to let go. It wasn't weakness, it was wisdom. Islam teaches Tawheed, the oneness of God, and in that truth I found the most humbling and liberating thing of all, that I am not the center of the universe. God is, and when I realized that, everything in me softened. I started waking up before sunrise, not for a show, not for an interview, but just to sit, to reflect, to listen to the silence of the early morning and speak to the God of Abraham, Moses, Jesus, and Muhammad. I used to be afraid of Islam, not because I knew it, but because I didn't. I was taught it was harsh. I was told it oppressed women. I believed it was distant. And then I met a woman named Amina in Johannesburg. She wore a scarf over her head, but she walked with the strength of a queen. Hijab doesn't silence me. It reminds me I belong to no one but God. I was humbled. I visited mosques. I read the Quran. I asked questions, and every time I expected oppression, I found liberation. Islam didn't teach me to fear. It taught me to feel. The 5 daily prayers, Salah, are not just rituals. They are anchors. They bring time, body, and soul into harmony. When I learned how Muslims perform wudu, the ritual washing before prayer, I cried, because how often do we pause to purify before we speak to God? And the prayer itself, its poetry in motion, its discipline of the body, devotion of the heart, and surrender of the soul. Every time they bow, they say, Subhana Rabbil Azim, glory to my Lord the Most Great. And in sujud, when the forehead touches the ground, they whisper, Subhana Rabbil Allah, glory to my Lord the Most High. The lowest physical posture is the highest spiritual elevation. One Ramadan, I decided to fast. Just one day, and I learned more in that day than in years of therapy. No water, no food, no distractions, just stillness, intention, and presence. At sunset, when the call to prayer rang out, and I took that first sip of water, I felt gratitude wash over me like never before. Fasting wasn't starvation, it was revelation. Ramadan teaches you this. You don't need everything. You just need awareness of the one who gives everything. Zakat. The obligation to give, to purify your wealth, to share what you have, it's not optional. It's a divine system of balance. Muslims give not just out of surplus, but even when they have little, they give because giving is part of believing. Islam taught me, real success is not how much you accumulate. It's how much you release. I once called him the universe, the light, the source, but Islam gave me names that carry meaning, that pull you closer to the divine. Amen, the most merciful, Al-Ghafur, the forgiver, Al-Wad, the loving one. When I say those names, I don't just speak them, I feel them, and I realized the God of Islam is not distant. He is near, from Istanbul to New York, from Cape Town to Cairo. I met Muslims who were scholars, teachers, artists, mothers, fathers, dreamers. I met people whose Islam didn't divide them from others. It connected them to all of humanity. One boy in Chicago told me, I pray 5 times a day so I don't forget who I really am. That is power. I didn't come to Islam to convert. I came because my heart needed more. And what I found was a faith that made me gentler, more disciplined, more aware, more real. Islam is not just a religion. It's a way to remember what we all forgot, that we are not separate. We are all servants, all children of God. So if you are searching, I invite you not to be afraid. Let your heart lead you. Don't be distracted by what the world says. Listen to the whispers of your soul, because sometimes truth doesn't shout, it whispers. And if you listen closely enough, you may hear what I heard. Not just a call to prayer, but a call to peace. And that, my friends, is the gift Islam gave me.